What I want to talk about in this video are Oracle database objects. Oracle database objects can include tables, and tables are the things that you work with mostly. Views, which are collections of data from one or more tables. Synonyms, which just give names to other database objects to make them less wordy. Columns, indexes, and user variables. These are all database objects that you can search for in Apex. Database objects must have a name that is 1 to 30 characters long. You can't go beyond 30 characters, and 1 character is probably not enough to be descriptive. That is, to tell the person what this table contains. A name for a database object must not include a quotation mark. Uppercase and lowercase are equivalent, meaning that case is not sensitive. It's not case sensitive, unless the name will always be enclosed in quotation marks. Names must begin with a character. You can't begin with a number or a non-alphabetic character. Names can only include the characters A through Z, 0 through 9, the underscore symbol, the dollar sign, and the pound symbol, but the use of the dollar symbol and the pound symbol are not encouraged. You cannot duplicate a SQL reserved keyword, and you can't duplicate the name of an existing database object in your own schema or the schema you are working in. Now, what you can do is you create a copy of a table in your own schema, and you can work with that and you can test with that in your own schema, because that table name did not previously exist in your own schema. You created a copy of the table and you can work with that table in your own schema, but then you cannot deploy that copy of that table that you created to a schema if it already has that existing table with that name. Okay, so let's go look at practical examples of this. And I'm going to go beyond, say, create table. This is a really long name for a copy of emp. And I'm going to say as select star from emp. This creates a table with a subquery. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Identifier is too long. This is way too many characters for a table name. So you can't go beyond 30 characters. And you can't use quotation marks. I can't say create table Drew's emp as select star from emp. I can't do that. It's going to give me an error and it's going to wipe me out in Apex. You can't do this in SQL Plus either. And it's going to give me a headache here. Return to application. And I have to go all the way back in my SQL commands. Okay. Uppercase and lowercase quotes don't matter unless you put it in double quotes. Let me explain that. Select or create table Drew's emp table as star from emp. Okay, it's going to create the table. Notice I put the table name in double quotes. What if I say select star from Drew's emp table? What does this do? Nothing. It says it cannot find that table because I didn't put it in double quotes. Let me add the double quotes. And there you go. So if you want to create the table this way, that is in double quotes, you'll rarely see it being created with double quotes. But if you want to reference that table name, then you have to use the double quotes again. We cannot duplicate an existing object. I'm going to try and create the table emp, but I already have the table emp in my own schema. And it says name is already used by an existing object. You cannot duplicate a database object name. Now, if I wanted to create a view called emp, I could do that. But I cannot create another table called emp because I already have that table. And you cannot use reserved keywords. And here is a reserved keyword, and I'm trying to use this as a table name. So let's go ahead and run this. Now, invalid table name. You cannot use a reserved keyword as a table name. So that's a quick introduction to Oracle SQL naming convention.